So unlocking a new language in just 30 minutes per day. At least that's the promise according to Pimsleur. So in this video, we're going to be doing a quick review of the Pimsleur approach, and I'm just going to give you my personal thoughts on it and whether or not it's something that you should consider adding or consider looking into as far as learning your target language. So when it came to the whole Pimsleur thing, the two courses that I have experience with are the Spanish course and the French course. So with the Spanish course, there's actually two different Spanish courses. There's one for people that speak in Spain, and then there's a Latin American one, which I believe is primarily focused on Mexico. But yeah, so I decided to go with the Latin American Spanish course. So the way that I did it is that I didn't actually go through the entire course. Like you'll see the way that it's structured is that there's 5 different levels. So each level has 30 lessons in total, and I decided to start at level 2 for the Spanish and the French course only because I had been studying Spanish and French for a while. So I felt like it didn't really make a lot of sense for me to start at the very beginning. So I decided to start with from level 2, and I just worked my way up from there. Now, even though I'm just going over really just the Spanish and the French, like at least that's my experience of learning, all of the courses are more or less work the same. Actually, I can show you right here the number of courses that they have. So they have a really huge selection. Like they do have the Spanish and French, like I mentioned, and yeah, if you're an English speaker, you see here they have Chinese, Danish, Dutch, Finnish, and so on and so forth. And if you're someone that wants to learn English, they also do have a lot of different languages for that. But I mean, if you're watching this video, then I'm assuming that you already are a native speaker of English, or you can speak English at a high level. So those courses probably won't interest you. But yeah, so as you can see here, they have a ton of different courses that you can dive into, and they're all structured pretty much the same, where there's going to be 5 different levels, and each level has 30 lessons in total. So I'm just going to click into one because they all more or less work the same. So you have like the main lesson that's here, that's for 30 minutes, and then besides the lesson, they also have a review section here where you can kind of go over some of the things that you learn from the lesson. So they have like flashcards, they do have like a match exercise where you match cards with the translation and the target language. They also help you out a bit with speaking as well. So, so that could be something worth looking into. And another thing that's cool about the different lessons is that the way that Pimsleur approaches language learning is that with each lesson, they go over different like sort of practical everyday sort of situations, and you get to listen to these conversations, and during the lesson they prompt you to speak, so that way you can get in the habit of speaking a language and understanding like what you're saying. So it gives you I think it gives you a pretty decent amount of exposure to the language as far as like listening to native speakers and then trying to emulate like what they're doing. And during the audios, you'll notice as well that they help to explain certain things like certain grammar points, just so you're sort of aware about it. So I do think like as far as starting off, like it does contain a pretty decent amount of information, but I will say though that it is a little bit on the pricier side, so that is something you may want to be aware of. So I'll give you like a little snippet here just so you guys can hear like how it sounds like.
Pas très contente. J'aurais bien aimé que tu rentres avant minuit.
Mais maman, c'est mes copains. Ils n'ont pas fait attention à l'heure.
C'est inadmissible que tu sois rentré si tard. Tu aurais pu au moins nous téléphoner.
Je suis désolé, maman. La prochaine fois, je te garantis que...
Il n'y aura pas de prochaine fois. Tu vas passer le week-end à la maison.
Vous avez entendu, pu au moins nous téléphoner.
You could at least have fun.
Okay. So yeah, so that's just a little snippet of how it sounds like. So yeah, we've primarily been going over the learning section right now, but as you can see, there are like a few other dedicated sections for you to take a look at. So here in the practice section, we have the flashcards, the different skills that you can work on. So you see here, so like general phrases like health, shopping, numbers, so on and so forth. Oh, doing too much. So here we have the speaking section, which is it helps you from the pronunciation. I can't say I really mess around too much with this personally. Like as far as I'm concerned, like when it comes to the Pimsleur approach, the most important thing you want to be focusing on is the main lesson that you have for the day. So like that 30-minute lesson, that's like the first thing you want to do. Like everything else kind of sort of, well, everything else I would say like builds off of the main lesson. So I would say like your main focus when it comes to Pimsleur is just to do the main lesson first. So yeah, so over here in the enrich section, they have like a couple of mini lessons here, which goes over a few more like everyday sort of situations, like formal versus informal, airport, football, etc. So yeah, so overall, it does contain a lot of really good information, and I think it could be pretty valuable for a beginner to to look into this and to start from the very beginning. I will say though, just as a quick little caveat, like when it came to me like doing the lessons for Pimsleur, when it came to the parts where I was supposed to like speak during the lesson, I didn't really do that. I just primarily just focused just on listening to the lesson and just getting like some exposure to the language, maybe picking up some grammar points like here and there. So I use it more as an exposure tool rather than something that I was like being very like interactive with. So that is something you want to keep in mind as well. Like if this is something you want to get like super interactive with, that is like an option. Or you could take a more passive approach. The reason why I didn't do any of the speaking exercises is that speaking is something that I plan to be focusing on like much later on. So I plan to do like shadowing and hiring someone that can help me with my speaking, like getting a tutor like on italki or a similar platform. So I'm going to be putting dedicated focus into speaking like when it gets to that point. So that's the reason why I didn't. But I mean, if you want to start like speaking your language as soon as possible, if you're one of those, and definitely like no judgment or anything like that. But I mean, if that's something that you want to do, then by all means, you could definitely get with the speaking exercises and just kind of get yourself into the feeling of speaking the language that it is that you're trying to learn. So like I said, like overall, like I think it's a pretty decent platform. Like it's definitely a good place to start. But you might have heard me say this like in other videos or in other places, but no single program is going to get you to fluency. Like this is definitely like no exception. I do think it does cover like a lot of decent ground as far as like understanding like the language and understanding like how to use it in a very practical manner, like different situations or what have you, like different like grammar points. Like it does a pretty good decent job in my opinion as far as like I'm explaining different things. But this is definitely a decent place to start. Like the only thing that can be a little bit intimidating is like the price point. Like this is definitely not on the cheap end. Yeah, so that's about it as far when it comes to this platform. So it's definitely something worth looking into. If you think this could help you out, then by all means add it to your arsenal. And yeah, if you have any questions or any comments, feel free to leave it down below. Yeah, I will catch you on the next video. Peace.